So this is the one more device through which power can be distributed in other ports with respect to one port. Okay, this directional coupler, as apart from the waveguide T's, we have directional coupler, we have isolators, we have circulator. These are the basic devices, passive devices. Okay, so in directional coupler, what happens? There are 4 ports are available, and the direct, as it indicate directional, means a particular direction will be identified, and the ports are related with each other. Okay, and if it is linked with other port, then we can say it is called coupling. And basically, always remember that coupling in directional coupler is a link between primary section with respect to the secondary section, or secondary section with respect to the primary section. Now you can see this is the basic block diagram of a directional coupler. It is having 4 port device. This is port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4. Okay, the port 1 and port 2, this line, upper line, is called as our primary waveguide line, and the third port and fourth port, this particular line is called as secondary waveguide line, or in some of the book it will be written in terms of auxiliary arm. This is the primary arm and this is the auxiliary arm, and this relationship with respect to the characteristics of this directional coupler is a relationship will be formed between the primary arm with respect to the secondary arm, or you can say primary arm with respect to the auxiliary arm. Okay, now how it works? So first of all, this is the cross section. You have to identify the ports: port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4. So this is primary section, this is secondary section. Next, if all the ports are perfectly matched, or if all the ports are perfectly matched, means there is no reflection coefficient. Reflection coefficient is 0, maximum power can be obtained if perfectly matched, and if the power is fed at port 1, if power at port 1 we are feeding the power, and other are matched, and port 1 is also matched, so maximum power will be delivered. Now here what happens, if it is perfectly matched, that means the total power it can be flowed to the inner primary arm. That means from port 1 to port 2 it will flow. Okay, and so matched free transmission of power between port 1 and port 2. So in a primary waveguide it will propagate. That is first. Second, there is no transmission between port 1 and port 3 and 2 with respect to port 4. That is no transmission. These are isolated. Okay, if port 1 is fed with power, no power is available at port 3. Similarly, if the output power is available at 2, there is no link between 2 and 4. This is the working principle of the directional coupler. Okay, why I will tell. Next, no transmission between 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. That means there is no coupling exist. That means S13 is equals to S31 is equals to 0, or S24 is equals to S42 is equals to 0. There is no coupling between these two ports. Means 1 with respect to 3 and 2 with respect to 4, there is no coupling. There is no link between them. Okay. Then the degree of coupling will be measured with respect to 1 with respect to 4 or 2 with respect to 3. Okay. Now depend upon the cross section. Always remember that coupling is basically in directional coupler. Coupling is basically done between primary section with respect to the auxiliary section in a particular direction. Now when you can see here the power is distributed like this. One, the total power is provided towards 2, but due to some holes and all which is available, depend upon the directional, I will tell how it is available. So some power will be distributed at port 4. Now coupling is between primary with respect to auxiliary. So if I am feeding the power at port 1, I will get some power at port 4, I will get some power at port 2. Okay. Now this is primary section, this is auxiliary section. So if you form a relation between primary and auxiliary, P1 with respect to P4, one factor will be generated, that is called coupling factor. This directional coupler depends upon three basic factors. One, directivity, second, coupling factor, and third, isolation factor. Okay, these are the three factors which we are going to discuss now. Now, first is coupling factor. Now, the thing is that when we provide the power at port 1, the power is available at 2 and power is available at 4. Okay, coupling is between primary and the auxiliary. So, P1 and P4, if you take a ratio and take a 10 log of it, you will get the coupling factor. Okay, this is the coupling factor. It is a coupling factor is a linkage between primary section with respect to the auxiliary section. Same thing I can say. For example, if I am feeding the power at port 3, there is no port 3 in secondary section. Okay, so when I am feeding the power in port 3, in that case the power will flow in the secondary line as well as some power will flow to the primary section. Okay, and this linkage between P3 and P2 will give you the coupling factor. For this sort of situation, we can write P3 by P2 and 10 log base 10. So this is called as your coupling factor if port 3 is energized. It is a link between either secondary to primary or primary to secondary. From any port you can justify. If you feed the power at port 2, the power which is available at port 3 will give you as a relation of coupling factor, depend upon the arrangement, depend upon the structure. Okay. So for this calculation, I have took port 1 as the input. Okay, and power is available at port 4 and port 2. Then next, directivity. Directivity means when I am energizing the port 1, in which particular direction maximum power is transmitting in the auxiliary arm and in which particular direction the minimum power is obtained or the zero is obtained. In auxiliary arm, maximum power is available at port 4. And there is no link between 1 and 3 because some cancellation will be there. I will tell how the fields are going to be cancelled, and that cancellation results here it is 0. Basically, this third port, if you are providing the power at port 1, third port is called as subtractive and port 4 is called as additive. Okay, for the time being, only these two factors you just know. I will derive all those things in the next class. So this is called as a subtractive port, this is called as an additive port. In additive, the power is available, so the directivity gives a relation between additive port with respect to the subtractive port. So this is called directivity of couplers, directional coupler. When if the port 1 is excited, then P4 by P3. Now depend upon the change of the port, you can change the relation also. But always remember that the directivity is basically identified in the secondary arm if primary is energized. Similarly, if the secondary arm is energized, directivity will be measured for the primary waveguide line. Okay. Second, last one is isolation. Isolation means we have to consider with respect to port 1. Now port 1 and port 3 are isolated with each other. There is no relationship. Means no power is available. Or you can take P2 with respect to P4. So here I have to 10 log of P1 by P3 because power is fed at port 1. No power is available at port 3. Similarly, if you fed the power at port 2, there is no relationship with respect to port 4. In that case, you can write P2 by P4. But for this case, we can write P1 by P3. And if you take this relation, isolation must be equal to directivity plus coupling factor. So this relation you need to remember. You have to judge. If this equation satisfies means your values are correct and the procedure is also correct. Now depend upon this directional coupler, we have different sort of arrangement for the directional coupler, whether it is a 2-hole directional coupler or it is a 4-hole directional coupler. two hole means this is one substrate, there is a small gap, there is one more substrate, and this is one substrate. So how many gaps are there? Two holes. So whenever this is called as a port 1, this is port 2, this is port 3, and this is port 4. Okay. Now when the port 1 is energized, the power will flow, this is the primary line, so some power will flow from 1 to 2. Some power will be flowing to port 4. From here also port 4, it is an additive, and some of the power will reflect back like this. Some of the power will reflect back. Now these two power which is reflecting back having the same sort of magnitude, and they will be cancelled out. So this is called as a subtractive. So here output will be 0, but here output is additive. So for this reason I am telling that if the port 1 is excited, port 3 resultant is 0, and there is no linkage, no coupling. Coupling will be with respect to 1 and 4, because this is the primary waveguide line and this is the secondary waveguide line. So this coupling is basically related with respect to the primary with auxiliary or auxiliary with primary, depend upon the given scenario. Similarly, this is called as a 4-hole directional coupler. You can see there are 4 holes are there, due to which power will be distributed. The power will be added at port 4. So this is, if I will consider, this is port 1, this is port 2, this is port 3, and this is port 4. Okay. So these holes are basically used to energize the signals. If anything is energizing a signal, that means we can say it is called an antenna. And since the slots are available, we can say it is called slotted antenna. Okay. So this will radiate the signals, propagate with the help of the input signal. And the available power with respect to 1, output will be available at 4 and 2. So coupling will be 1 with respect to 4, directivity will be 4 with respect to 3, isolation will be 1 with respect to 3 if the power is fed at port 1. Similarly, you can take power as fed at port 2, power as fed at port 3, power at fed at port 4, any of the port. So this is the basic working principle of your directional coupler. Okay. So this is the last discussion for today's class, that is the scattering matrix for the directional coupler. Now as we have seen the working principle of directional coupler, according to that we have to frame the scattering parameter. Okay. Now since it is a 4-port device, so 4-port means total 16 parameters will be there. Okay. So first, port 1 is energized, means we are feeding the power at port 1. Using that assumption, we have to derive. All the ports are perfectly matched, means the diagonal element of the S matrix are going to be 0. That is S11, S22, S33, S44 are 0. You can see this is the diagonal elements, all are 0. Perfectly matched. Next, if you are feeding the power at port 1, there is no coupling between port 1 and port 3, 2 and 4. So that means S13 and S31 and S24 and S42 all are 0. So I have written S13, S31, S24, S42 is equals to 0, because there is no linkage between them. Now using these two conditions I have substituted here. Okay. Now either you can represent the whole matrix as it is, or you can represent that one parameter is a real and one parameter is a complex, like that. So here what I have done, I have took the first row, take as a square, S12 square plus S14 square must be equal to 1. That is the using unitary property. Similarly, zero property means multiplying the component of this with the complex conjugate of the same row of one component plus the addition of the component of third row with respect to the complex conjugate of S32. So here I have written the zero property. Okay. With the help of these two property, you can identify the relations which are not interlinked with each other. So once we have identified this not interlinked with each other, we can assign one of the component as a real part and one of the component as a imaginary part. Now for example, S12 if you assign as P, S14 I can assign as JQ, imaginary component. So when you take the magnitude square, you will get P square plus Q square must be equal to 1. And with the help of this sort of relation, we can form or we can disseminate all these components to determine what is P and what is Q. But the thing is that since the directional coupler is a we are considering it is a perfectly matched condition, but the device may not be perfectly matched. For that case, you can consider the real part and imaginary component for the scattering parameters. The scattering parameters will be given to you, and you have to determine the different parameters like directivity, coupling factor, isolation factor with respect to the given condition. But with the help of this analogy, we can construct the scattering parameters. Whatever the condition I have written here, same thing I have represented with respect to the magnitudes, and with the help of this we can identify the unknown factors. So this is the basic analogy how to identify the scattering parameter, because when we are dealing with the devices, that means the scattering parameters will come into picture. If it is a 2-port network, that means 4 scattering parameters will be there. If it is a 3-port network, 9 scattering parameters will be there. And if it is a 4-port network, 16 parameters will be there. And according to that, we have to analyze our values. Next class we are going to discuss about more about this directional coupler, and a few numericals we are going to discuss. Okay, till then you try to practice this, and most important thing, I have posted the assignment question in your Google Classroom. I have written all those instructions how you are going to make the video. First you have to write in a piece of white sheet all answers. You have to answer all those things. As you are submitting the assignment, like that you have to write all your answers in the white sheet. Then how to prepare the video. Video you have to prepare. First you have to take your self introduction. Then you have to wherever the sheet is available, you have to show that sheet. You have to read the question 1 and you have to explain it continuously what you have written. Then question number 2, then whatever the thing you have written, you have to explain it. Then question number 3, you have to read it, and whatever the thing, and all these things you have to record it. Okay, you have to hold a mobile like this and you have to read those sheet. Okay, read means you have to explain it, and that must be 10 minutes, not more than that, because each question 2 minutes you take and explain it very nicely, and then upload in the Google Classroom, or I will share one Google Drive in which you are going to upload all those things. Okay, so for that, for next class we are going to discuss more about these devices, isolators and circulator. Till then, thank you. And one more important thing, the answer sheet which you are answering, take a scan of it and upload in the Google Classroom. I will share the Google Drive in which you have to add your videos according to the particular folders. You have to make your folder in which put your name, USN number, and then you upload your video. Okay, it must be within 10 minutes, not more than that.